Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to talk about how to use PETG or another material as a support interface layer. You can kind of see on this head pool that I'm doing, there's a thin white layer on top of these supports. You can see how they just come right off. You can see that right on top of there. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're trying to achieve. And we're going to look at that a little bit closer on the Prusa XL over here. Right now we're working on another Godzilla helmet, and you can see right down here in this Creality Space Pie we have a roll of PETG HF, and that's this yellow material right here. That comes up here and you can see it in between the Godzilla helmet and the supports. And what that does is it makes those supports come off as easy as you just saw with that Deadpool head pool skull. So the way we do that in Bamboo Studio, let's see if we can get this focused down here on Bamboo Studio. Yeah, I don't have any editing skills or software, so you gotta bear with me. So let's set this up on a A1. Let's discard all modified values. Assuming that your A1, X1C, or P1 series has an AMS or AMS Lite, you're going to need that. What you want to do first is you want to choose in one of these sections the bamboo support for PLA. You might not have the bamboo support for PLA material, or you might not plan on using it, and that's fine. What this is going to do for us is tell us what settings need to be changed, and it's going to change those settings for us. You can see right here I've got PETG HF loaded and some PLA basic. So you want to have your PETG loaded in here and in your AMS Lite, or if you are going to use the support material for PLA, you can use that. We're just going to do a 0.16 high quality. You want to enable supports. You don't necessarily need to choose the type of support yet. You do not need to choose on build plate only, because what this does with the interface layer is also going to build an interface layer under the support if it adds a support inside your part. So a lot of these helmets and other parts and masks and stuff that you're trying to make, if you're trying to make something like this and you can't get up under that chin area, you can't get up under some of these areas very easily, it will add supports in there, and it'll add the support layer beneath and above so that you can just pop those supports right out of there. You can see there's probably some of that going on inside this head pool, neck, skeleton. Those are going to be kind of hard to get out because they're all woven in there. So getting back to this, choose your bamboo support for PLA material in one of your AMS slots. Make sure that your PETG is loaded if that's what you're using, and whatever material you're using. No on build plate only. Don't necessarily need to choose type right now. The important thing is go down to filaments for supports and choose the bamboo support PLA, and that's going to bring this pop-up. This is what we want to see. Is it's going to tell you what settings need to be changed when you use an interface material. And it's going to say at the bottom, change these settings automatically, yes, and they will do it. And that's what we're going to do. But let's take a look at these settings, because I wrote these settings down so that I don't have to do this every time. And then I set up profiles to save. And we can talk about that later. So 0 top Z distance, that's right down here. If you didn't know, right down here, you can see top Z distance is 0.16 right now. And they're going to change that to 0. And what that is it's the distance between your interface layer and your part. And the shorter that distance is, the cleaner that your surface is going to be on the build part. So 0 is about as short as it gets. 0 interface spacing, that's the space between the lines on the interface pattern that it makes on top of the supports. So if this grid pattern was the interface layer on top of the supports, that's what it would look like. With 0 interface spacing, you're not going to have any space between these two lines. It's essentially just going to be a flat surface. That's why this creates such a nice surface area on your built part. Interlaced rectilinear pattern. So that is your interface pattern. There's several to choose from. That's the one that they want you to use for this. It works pretty good. And disable independent support layer height, which is down. All of these are right down here. You just scroll down and look for those words and change it to that setting. But we're just going to say yes. And you can see now that top Z distance is 0, and you can see it has this little return arrow, if you want to return to 0.16. The interface pattern is now rectilinear interlaced, and top interface spacing is now 0. And let's see if we can get down to see independent support layer height is no longer checked. So there you go. That's how that works. And now when you slice apart, it's going to show the interface layer in there. Let's take a look here. Let's see if I've got something that I know will show. Yeah, let's just do one of these back covers. Let's flip this on this way. That way we can see it right here. Slice the plate. So while that's slicing, we can talk more about supports. If you're not using a interface layer like we saw on the head pool, I like to use whatever the standard settings are and add to the top Z distance a little bit. So it works with tree supports and normal supports. You can see I got normal supports here, and I printed this at a 0.20 layer height, and my top Z distance that I changed it to was 0.25. And you can see how nicely those just come off. And it leaves a pretty nice clean surface. I mean, yeah. So look at that. That just pops right off. So you can see now that this is sliced. You can see that little white line right between the supports and the part. And that's what we want to get. So if you guys got any more questions, leave a comment. I'll see if I can help you out. I can show you how to do this in Orca Slicer. It's basically exactly the same. I don't remember if Orca Slicer will give you the values that you need to change, but you can set it up in Bamboo, take a picture, write it down. I can also show you how to do this in Prusa Slicer if you guys need help with that. Thanks for watching.